Hey guys, Jonah here, back with an Advent beer review, and we're on to day 16, which means, yeah, it is over there. We're on to the lowest level, if that makes sense, the lowest level of hell. Yeah, so we'll see what we get today. Hopefully, by pulling these lower ones out, that doesn't mean that everything else is going to collapse in on itself. Fingers crossed, eh? Right. Oh, kind of odd. But, oh, you bugger. No, we're okay. Oh, we are onto a brewery that I know quite well and is good, which is cool. It's Thornbridge, and we have a beer here called Novi or Novi. Unfortunately, it's a hazy pale ale, yet another one, at 4%. At least it's not hazy IPA or session IPA or that kind of nonsense. So we'll see what we get. It's a big can, and look at that. We have got a gold top. Take your black top and do one. There you go. Silver bottom though. It is a larger can. It is a 440, which is cool. And looks like there is some sort of Chinese or yeah, it's going to be a Chinese influence. Does that mean Thornbridge are sold out, or are they just trying to sell their beers in other lands? Tell us what the hops is. Kashmir, Equinot, and Talus. I was trying to work out. Oh, it actually says it's inspired by the Novi Special, which looks like it's a race car. Colour scheme. So is that a brown? I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. Where are the things there? Barley and wheat. Okay, so it's got some wheat in it. And I've just literally turned this thing upside down. Hopefully is not going to bode badly. We shall see. And because it's one of these big cans, oh, okay, that's not bad at all. We're going to get two pretty good sizes of this tiny, wincy little glass, which I don't know. I mean, I'm still not sure about that bad boy. Especially when you've got the beers that have mega head. Yeah, you're almost only getting half a glass. I was going to put it down there, but no. Let's put Novi up front. Yeah, definitely two. Oh, there we go. Look, 2 fingers head, and then there's 2 there, and another 2 there, and another one. So it's a ratio of 5 to 2. And the head is going to disappear. I mean, it's lovely colour. Look at that fluffy, lovely fluffy head. Hazy, but not cloudy. You can definitely see through there. You can see my face definitely through there, which is a good idea. Soft nose. Getting kind of some high notes, but there's something in there as well. Something like melon, maybe, coming through, and it's some sort of citrus, but like a really light citrus. But there's a soft kind of overarching sweetness is the wrong word. It's kind of like a kind of chalky, like those chalky candy sweets that you get, and they come in different flavors. And they look a bit like sticks of rock. They're sort of thin tubes, but they're kind of chalky stuff. That's kind of what this smells like. Interesting. And the head has fast disappeared. But cheers and beers to you, dear viewer. Let's see what we get today. Oh, yeah, interesting. Getting that chalkiness, but it's a little bit watery too. Having the wheat in there without the oats is interesting. That's how kind of a lot of Belgian beers do their style. But you can taste a bit of that wheaty sort of wheatiness. It's a kind of, obviously it's a grain, so it's that grain flavour, but in an interesting way. It's a sort of, yeah, you know, like some darker beers are kind of cake-like or biscuit-like. This isn't like that. This is like a sort of, maybe like a bread almost, which is quite interesting. Carbonation is not too bad. It's not. I mean, I know we had mega head on there, but it's not too fizzy. And then it descends into kind of a wateryness because it's a pale ale. That is really nice, really easy drinking. Um, Perhaps a little bit too watery, a little bit too soft. The hops, there's no real hop backbone in this. Um, this is designed solely to be like easy drinking kind of beer. You could sink a fair few of these, not notice, and then perhaps it will go pear-shaped later on in the evening. This is, I guess, what the Americans would kind of call an American beer. No, a lawnmower beer, which is usually a lager. Beg your pardon for that cheeky belch. I don't know if you noticed. Um, but that's what happens when you drink beer. It's one of those things. Right, let us finish this bad boy off. I should have given the can a bit of a swirl and tried to get some of the carbonation out. See if I can. I'm pouring this second one a bit slowly. Oh, I'll tell you what, I've forgotten to do my photo opportunity on a daily. There we go. There's Toto in the background. He's not a wolf. He's from Africa. Do 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 do. There we go. Now, I tell you what, look at that. Now, here is my theory of cans being poured into tiny, wincy little glasses. That is a lot more cloudy and wheat-like than the first pour. That's a fantastic example of what I've always said, dear viewer, that yeah, you do get sediment kind of settling down to the bottom of the can, even if it's stored on its side. When you imagine, when you're, let me get it the right way round, because otherwise I'll pour it on the trousers. So say this is stored in my box over here, like this, horizontally. Everything will settle to the bottom, and then the first thing you do, you turn it up. So still the sediment is in the bottom half of the can. I have heard in the past of people storing their canned beers upside down. So we're talking inverted. So that way the sediment is kind of falling to the bottom. And then before they pour it, they turn it upright. You've got to be careful though, because of the carbonation. You don't want to, yeah, agitate too much. I guess like a wine, some people store their wine, especially red wine, because they tend to have a bit more particulate in, and they go round and turn them a tiny little bit every couple of months, just so things don't completely settle out, if that makes sense. You just turn it a little bit, maybe a quarter of a turn or an eighth of a turn. Turn it, turn it, turn it, turn it. Keep things in suspension. And if you're talking wine with things like champagne, obviously then you invert, you degauss the wine, which is nuts. You've got to have thumbs of steel like those old French winemakers. But anyway, let's get back to this beer. I digress as usual, dear viewer. Okay, that's more like it. Now that we've got some proper haze in there, getting a bit more of that kind of zestiness, almost kind of, I was going to say almost grapefruity, but it's not powerful enough to be grapefruity. It's sort of citrus on the grapefruit side, if you like. We've still got things like the melon. There's even a touch of kind of a lemon in there, but maybe it's the pith, kind of the pithy side of a lemon that's giving that kind of, yeah, that kind of bitterness that I'm thinking is, yeah, something to do with grapefruit. It tastes quite nice. This is a bit more like it. This is a bit more punchy. It's less of that kind of watery nature, even though it's still only 4%, but the flavour is definitely a bit more there. So this is a game of a beer of two glasses. And it's amazing how you can get such different flavours out of one vessel. Imagine you've got a 1 gallon, you know, those mini pins or mini kegs, you know, from when you start to when you finish, unless it's lager. I had one of those for the Olympics, if you remember earlier on. Yeah, if you've got an ale in there, my God, your first taste will be totally different to your last taste. It's yeah, it's crazy. Hmm, that is not too bad at all. If you like such things, and obviously I like all different kinds of beer. Hazy Pale, I'm glad they didn't call it a session IPA. That would have got my back up something chronic. But I should know better. Thornbridge, they do make some lovely beers. Personally, I prefer the cask beers, but they do some lovely stuff in bottles and in cans in this case. That was day 16. I'm just checking that it was. Yep, we're on to the home stretch now. 16, 17, yeah, so we're down. Tomorrow is going to be the beginning of the last week of the Advent box. And hopefully we'll have some stonkers in here. It's kind of been a bit meh so far. There have been some nice beers in there, but I will say the darker beers are much better than the lighter beers. Maybe, except this one. I quite enjoyed that one. It's been Unclejona here. Please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other during this Christmas period. There are many more beers to be drunk. Pardon me. And they're going to come up with probably some belchers as well real soon.